Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all? I'm Krish Ravipati. I'm very excited to have Jane Toohey here. Jane is from Outsourcing2us, a marketing agency specializing in childcare centers. Now, Jane's got a team of 12 members. I'm very excited and I'm going to ask a few questions on Outsourcing2us. Jane, Outsourcing2us has made quite a name in the childcare marketing sector over the last decade, yeah? And now look, what motivated you to specialize in marketing to childcare providers?
Initially, I could see that it wasn't so much about understanding the marketing strategy, but about making marketing happen. And that's what Outsourcing2us is about. It's about making marketing happen for companies. And the childcare industry needs a lot of help from a marketing perspective. The centre directors are very, very busy. They don't have a lot of time to do their marketing, and so we do it for them, make it happen.
That's a valuable niche. Now, look, what are some of the unique marketing challenges that childcare providers face that Outsourcing2us can help?
Yeah, I think one of the major things is working with local families, nurturing them along the way, understanding when families are likely to want their children in care, and then being able to fill the gaps in the right way. Sometimes marketing is focused on finding new educators for a room, so you can open up a new room and then create new places. So that's one of the things. Another thing is working with other local businesses who are also operating in the area, who might do some reciprocal marketing with the childcare centres.
That's a good point you made. So it's not all about the children, it's finding the educators as well that the marketing can help.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Now, look, standing out also is definitely very important, right? Can you share a bit about the strategies that you use to enhance the online presence, especially for childcare providers?
Part of it is understanding what your point of difference is. As we all know, it's a very competitive environment. So what is it about your centre that is different, that really has you stand out from the crowd? And then being able to articulate that on the different platforms that you use for marketing. So your website needs to really clearly say what it is that's different about you. And then putting out those posts on social media and in emails and the different platforms that you work on. So it's the understanding of how to articulate the point of difference, I think.
And you mentioned the social media as well. So what platforms do you usually go on social media?
We're always Facebook and Instagram, and different families prefer Instagram over Facebook. Sometimes we'll use LinkedIn as well, especially if it's a CBD-based type centre and there's a lot of high-profile C-suite type mums and dads. And YouTube to some extent as well.
That's a very good strategy. I never thought LinkedIn actually works, but if the people are working in city, then LinkedIn is fantastic. Yeah. Look, a lot talking about measurement of success, right? How do you measure success of your marketing campaign to childcare centres?
We look at analytics, and there's lots of different ways that you can bring analytics into, say, an end of month. We do an end of month report every month where we sit down with the childcare centre director and sometimes the owner, go through the report, understand what's working and what's not. So we draw on analytics from Google, analytics from the social media, analytics from the email campaigns, so we can see who's opened and what's not and who's engaged with what. And really understanding how many phone calls have we had, how many inquiries have we had, and linking that all back to the marketing tactics that we're doing and making sure that there actually are returning leads, a return on investment.
That sounds thorough, Jane. Could you share a success story where your marketing efforts made a significant difference to a childcare provider?
Yes, there's one provider that comes to mind, I think, that we've been working with for about 4 years. They've got 6 centres. Actually, within the first 6 months of working with them, we increased their occupancy rates by up to 30% across the board. And that was mainly because everything was implemented regularly on a monthly basis across all the centres. There was consistency in the social media. There was ongoing nurturing campaigns with the current families. We made sure that all the leads were followed up. And really, at the end of the day, it isn't rocket science. It's just about making it happen and being consistent with your tactics.
And also, good point you made. That's a 6-center group, not just one center. So you do work with multiple centers as well if they have.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You do. Oh, fantastic. And that's very impressive, isn't it? Like, you tell me this. Another question is, how important is the community engagement for marketing strategies that you create?
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the most important things. And some centres that we work with, they've only really been focusing on digital advertising and social media. But if you don't get engaged with the community, talk to other businesses, find out how they're marketing. There might be reciprocal marketing you can do, and even doing things like open days, education days for local families, just to come along and find out about the centre, knowing that they're going to have their children coming up through the centre later on.
That's very good point. So people just sometimes they only concentrate on digital, and but whereas community engagement is so crucial, which you guys help the centers. Talk me about the content. You know, we all heard content is key, right? Now, creating this engaging content, how do you ensure your content remains relevant and appealing to parents?
Yeah, you have to have a mix of content. So it can't all just be promoting your products and services, your services within the centre. The parents really want to know about the educators. They want to know how long they've been there. They want to know what they specialise in. They want to know what makes them tick. But they also want to know what's going on in the centre. And I know that there's other platforms that the centres use to communicate with the families, but they still want to see it on the social media. They also want to know what the kids have been eating and what sort of things can they take home with them, tactics and things they can do, maybe even to show them how to do reading with the kids, you know, things like that. It's all really relevant to them.
Content is key. So that's very good information to be relevant. Jane, finally, childcare providers who are looking to improve their marketing, what's one piece of advice would you give them?
Well, I think there's two things. Make sure that you look at the analytics. Make sure that you get the end of month reporting and understand what's working and what's not. So you can do more of what's working and less of what's not, and really maximise your marketing budget. But then also follow up the leads. That might sound basic, but so many centres we come across, we produce leads for them for new families, but they don't nurture them because they say, oh, we might not have a place for them. But that's not the point. Make sure that you stay engaged with those families, because you never know, they might have another child coming through, or a place might come available next week. So it's all about making sure you follow up the leads and then stay in communication and stay nurturing them at the same time.
That's fantastic. That's two pieces of advice, I guess. One is always follow up the leads, and next one is always analyze what's working, what's not working. Jane, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure my audience have got a lot of value information, and if they want to contact Jane, how can they contact you?
Our website, outsourcing2us.com.au, or Jane Toohey at outsourcing2us.com.au.
Awesome. Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
Thanks.